What happens when we pay engineers $25, $50, and over $100 to master the song I made back in my arrangement video? And can AI mastering compete with these engineers? Let's jump right into it. I was immediately sold when I saw the Teletronics and the $25 price on screen, so I just knew I had to reach out. Minutes after, Lake kindly responded, so I went ahead, placed the order, and filled out the requirements. Being that this was mastering only, my main goal was to ensure we're loud enough while also retaining dynamics, and of course seeing if we could achieve a glued together sound with any possible sonic improvements. And within the next couple of days, Lake sent me the first version. And I honestly thought the product sounded great. We had gotten as close as possible to reaching appropriate loudness while also retaining dynamics at a super affordable price of only $25. Like, I would have expected at this price point to receive a result that maybe sounded like overcompressed or sloppy maybe, which was not reflected in this delivery at all. So given those considerations, I didn't think a revision round was necessary, as there was literally nothing to nitpick considering how affordable this master was. So I approved and left Lake my feedback by leaving a positive review. It was that simple. Now at the second price tier, I was scrolling through Fiverr and Brian looked like a great option, so I sent him a message. He seemed enthusiastic to work, liked the song, and let me know he had everything he needed to complete the master. He sent through the offer so we could begin the order. A day later, Brian sent me his first version. All I ever wanted was you. I felt this was a really strong beginning, but I wanted the verses and the pre-choruses to be slightly less loud than they were currently, because I felt they were making the chorus slightly less impactful. And this is actually a common EDM trick that I tend to apply in my own songs. Like, if you make the sections preceding your chorus or drop slightly quieter and less wide, then the chorus will feel extra impactful because it sounds relatively louder and wider. Now, back to Brian's first version, I also thought we could narrow down on the compression used in the chorus a little to make things sound more natural and not as slammed. So after sending that over, Brian quickly got to work and he was able to achieve those notes in his second version. All I ever wanted was you. I was very happy with the result. I mean, given the price point of $50, I felt he certainly delivered, so I went ahead and approved his delivery. And then it was time to move to the grand finale, the third and most expensive price tier. Considering the jump in budget, I wanted to take the same leap in quality, so I went to Sound Better, which is where I found Diamond Certified Engineer Rob. I saw big names like Imagine Dragons and Ellie Goulding among his credits, which definitely inspired me to reach out. His initial price was $130, so I figured let's see if we can get it down to $100. So I asked, And that's another lesson I learned over the years, by the way. Asking won't hurt as long as you're asking respectfully. So he had let me know he could meet somewhere in the middle by offering a price of $110, and of course I was willing to make that happen, so I funded the order. Then 2 days later, Rob sent over 2 versions to begin with. The differences were that in V1 there was more low end packed in to emulate that Fred again feel, where the low end often isn't as clean.
All I ever wanted was you.
While V2.1 sounded slightly cleaner.
All I ever wanted was you.
And after listening to both, I figured I enjoyed V2.1 slightly more, as I felt it still had enough low end while sounding really strong, energetic, beautifully warm and rich, and just ever so slightly cleaner than V1. So at that point I honestly didn't have any comments, so I approved and marked the job as complete. And given his experience and credits, I was actually very curious to know what gear he used on the master. So again, I asked. And he was kind enough to send a detailed list of images of his outboard gear and actually sent me the link to his studio.com masterclass. So if you want to learn more about mixing and mastering, then this class may definitely be worth checking out for you. Now, after checking out the deliveries from our engineers, it's time to see how AI stacks up. And Lander, who kindly sponsored today's video, has a mastering tool that can help deliver that. So let's hit new and upload our song. And once uploaded, we can access a preview and we get several styles and loudness levels to choose from. So let's go with warm and medium and see how that sounds. I mean, not bad. It's certainly loud enough and retains dynamics, but in the highs it sounds a bit closed off. So let's try the other styles and levels options. I definitely feel the balanced medium combination sounded best, like most natural, so I would commit to that, but I also want to try loading up a reference song. So let's upload Delilah by Fred again and check it out. Interesting, so it has a similar energy to that of Delilah in the warmth and low end, but I must say I do prefer our previous balanced medium combination, which sounded slightly more natural. So let's recap. At $25, Lake's Master was super accessible. Maybe it could have used a bit more body and low end, but the delivery definitely turned out to meet the cost. Then the next step up was Brian at $50, and what impressed me was how he asked great questions and implemented feedback really well, and of course also the very good master he delivered. And third, Rob at $110 was also very efficient and even delivered 2 versions in 2 days. And to be frank, Rob's master definitely sounded the most warm and full, making it my favorite master of the 3, but it was also the most expensive. So how does AI mastering compare to the masters? Well, to be honest, both Lander's process and the master were better than I anticipated. It was all very intuitive and efficient, and the master came out loud while retaining dynamics, not sounding squashed, and with the frequencies balanced out quite well. So overall, I'd say the AI master's performance is somewhere in between that of Lake and Brian, which makes it a very good option if you're on a budget or if you're working with with a very, very tight deadline. However, note that you're quite limited with feedback. With AI, you can really only tweak a few settings, while you could give any piece of feedback to a human, which is great if you have a specific vision. So that is something you might want to keep in mind depending on your needs. Now, with all of that said, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below where you stand with AI mastering and how you feel about the results. I'd encourage you to try Blender for yourself using the link in the description, which will give you 20% off Blender Studio or its mastering plugin. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you next time.